Hi there, this is Yixue. Today we're going to talk about my favorite topic, which is mindfulness. And I will give you 3 levels of understanding of mindfulness because it can go really, really deep. I'm not going to leave you hanging. The 3 are discernment, and the right effort, and a clear comprehension, which is also called sati sampajanya in Pali. But you don't need to worry about it. I will explain what it means. I'm so excited about this topic because these 3 levels of understanding is extremely beneficial and practical to be used in your daily lives. To show you what I mean, if you just say, be mindful, okay, what does it all mean? So before we jump into the 3 levels that you can really appreciate why I'm so excited, I want to tell you the common understandings of mindfulness that is everywhere. Because mindfulness has become a very overloaded term, being mindful has become a hype even, and mindfulness has also become a billion-dollar industry in the West, which is very interesting. One of my collaborators, Randy Sample, a professor from University of Southern California, actually co-wrote a book, and there's 1 chapter about how this whole mindfulness thing came from the East to the West into the psychology, psychiatry, and behavioral science and neuroscience, all of that. But from the East, originally, it was more like contemplative practice for happiness and well-being. People go into temples or hermits or whatever. It's actually quite interesting. Even nowadays in China, there are still hermits. I don't know if you heard about the Red Wood. His main thing is hunting down the stories to find the actual hermit that's hidden in the mountains of China and read stories about them. But long story short, mindfulness, such an overloaded term nowadays. Actually, even myself use mindfulness without the precise definition in different contexts just because there's no time to explain such a deep concept. And I use it very casually. Even in my own channel, I say mindful AI or whatever, right? That just means be mindful about where your time goes. Is it actually saving you time or not? And in the modern context, I think there are 2 main understandings of mindfulness. One is like being in the present moment, and 2 that's associated with doing things slowly. Like mindful eating, you're really eating slowly and pay attention to the taste, texture, or whatever. There's this type of definition about mindfulness, which are all useful, right? But I think mindfulness, if you use it in that way, that's not a daily activity thing. Who's gonna eat super slowly all the time, for example? And when I'm working, what does it mean? I have to go back to present moment and I'm just writing my email and I'm just focused. These definitions are all very useful, but it's a little bit detached from a 24/7 daily living because if it's, now I'm gonna be mindful. It separates this mindfulness session versus, I'm going on my life. But mindfulness is really something you can integrate into your daily life 24/7. So here I will introduce 3 different understandings of mindfulness that's very practical that you can use in daily lives. Are you ready? Let's go!
Let's go!
Level number 1, discernment. Discern what is wholesome versus what is unwholesome. This is very important because you'd be surprised how some people don't even know what is wholesome or what is unwholesome. This takes a lot of effort to even be able to pull out of autopilot habit to recognize, this actually is unwholesome. For example, eating junk food that's not good for your body, or doing unethical behaviors or whatever, or even slander and gossip about other people. Yeah, I know sometimes complaining with each other have some instant gratification that you feel you're letting it out, but in a long term, it's really a waste of time and energy. Instant gratification is very temporary and does not lead to long-term happiness and well-being. And wholesome versus unwholesome is not black and white because it totally depends on your situation. Sometimes people ask me, is this wholesome, is this unwholesome, blah, blah, blah. And now I'll give you a very simple trick for you to discern by yourself to recognize if it's wholesome or unwholesome. First of all, there's 3 types of behaviors: mental, verbal, and bodily behaviors. Mental as in wholesome thoughts and unwholesome thoughts. Verbal is wholesome speech and unwholesome speech. This include verbal, like in verbal communication, or writing an email or text message. These are all verbal speech. And the bodily is, what you do with your physical body, like wholesome, I don't know, maybe a heart. And unwholesome, I don't want to do it, but you know what I mean. There could be unwholesome bodily acts. Oh, even like punch somebody or whatever, right? And the extreme would be killing, which we really don't want to do. And because it's not super straightforward to discern what's unwholesome, what's wholesome, that's why in so many different teachings for happiness and peace, there's ethics elements, such as in Christianity, Muslim, or Buddhism, or whatever, right? All these things, they always have these ethical elements because that's really the foundation for your happiness. You're not gonna be happy if you conduct unwholesome behaviors in these three different categories: thoughts, verbal, and bodily. The general rule of thumb I use is, okay, does this behavior cause harm to myself or others? If you want to go one level above, such as it does not harm anybody, but it benefits me and others. This will always lead to long-term happiness if it benefits yourself and others. And if you go one step down in between, at least it does not harm yourself or any others, but it also benefits yourself. Maybe not others, and that's totally fine too. These are the three levels: no harm to yourself or others, benefit yourself but not others, and if you want to even add on top of that, something that benefits yourself and others. This is a good way to see, if this is wholesome or unwholesome. It may sound simple, but you'd be surprised if you closely examine your mental, verbal, and bodily actions every single day. You will see it's not that easy to even just discern if you are doing wholesome actions every day. But it gets better and better. Eventually, your mindfulness are just on automatically. It's like a moral compass that grows very, very strong. You can conduct wholesome actions automatically because you are trained to do that, and that becomes your habit, and you are just such a happy person automatically in that way. If it's too difficult, I recommend starting from the bodily. This is super easy to spot. Most people are all good with bodily actions. Then the second challenge would be verbal. Pay attention to how you speak, including text and emails, everything that's output in the speech. The last challenge is your thoughts, but we'll get there later as you train your mind more and more. My channel is beginner friendly, so even you can just guard your speech, that's a very big win. And the level 2, on top of the discernment of wholesome and unwholesome, when you can recognize it, we have right effort. This is one step further for long-term happiness. Once you recognize it's unwholesome, you make right effort to replace unwholesome with wholesome, such as your habit is to, roll the rage when somebody cuts you in the line and curse, whatever it is. Now you first recognize it, and the level 2 is replace that with something wholesome. For example, it can be just a noble silence that you don't curse it out, or you can just make a joke about that driver, whatever it is, right? So the second level is very straightforward, but the foundation is when you have this discernment, you make an effort, a conscious effort with a right intention to replace your habits which are unwholesome with wholesome actions. Again, this is much easier to guard from the bodily actions. Like before you punch somebody in the face, you can just stop right here and decide to say hi or whatever, right? This is an example of right effort. Replace unwholesome with something wholesome, or a smile. Then the second challenge is the verbal. It always goes like that. The verbal one is tricky. You can start with your speech. If it's very difficult to guard, you can start with email or text messages, because that you type a bit slower. There's more time for you to turn on your mindfulness to discern and make sure you replace the unwholesome actions with wholesome actions. You can make up your own mini game. Whenever you're gonna complain about something, catch yourself and decide to do something else that makes you happy and smile. If it's very difficult, even small step is good. Whenever you complain about something, immediately if you can catch catch yourself say, but I have to say I am grateful, blah, blah, blah. Find another good reason, a wholesome action to cancel it out. Yes, it works that way because we are humans. By default, we have many unwholesome actions, thoughts, speech, and bodily actions. And it's not our fault. We just never learned this way. The schools do not teach us how to be happy. They teach us all the techniques and the skills, but that's really not enough if your goal is to live a happier and healthier life. And we can all see how much suffering the world is having right now just because we are not taught about how to be happy. It is a skill that can be learned. It's just a habit. And it's a very good habit to have, I can tell you that, so why not? If you're not sure what is a wholesome action to replace it with, which by the way, you should always have some backup plan just so you know you can go immediately. Otherwise, it's very difficult to break a bad habit. If you don't know, you can just always come back to a smile. Even fake it until you make it. You know, just loving kindness is always a wholesome action that you can always do, or compliment someone, something that is kind. Yeah, just smile. Always automatically brainwash yourself back to smile. I swear you will feel better and better, and you will automatically become more loving and kind and more grateful. It even gradually changes your personality. Doesn't matter what personality you think you have right now, but this have a long-term effect. You will see. The best way is for you to see it through your own experience and see it for yourself. So third level is actually very deep. It's like an infinite spiral where you can just become better and better endlessly. It's a lifelong journey. It's clear comprehension. In Pali, it's sati sampajanya. That basically means to see reality as it is. That requires a lot of letting go of the concepts or whatever you accumulated along your life journey, and to see the reality exactly as is. So for example, I have this water bottle and it's cute, but if you really question it, why is it cute? Why do I think this, I don't know, hairy capybara is cute? It's a hairy animal and it's quite big and fat, to be honest. But why I think it's cute? Right? So those are all the concepts we learned along the way. I learned, oh, capybara can make friends with anyone, such a great personality, and capybara can take a bath with all the citrusy fruit, super cute in Japan, super laid back, and many people say they are cute. And then I also see capybara stores in China, which is one way to really show, oh, this is popular, because we even have a store just for capybara. Every product here, like wallets or water bottle or bags, are all capybara theme, which shows this is a popular concept. I accumulated these concepts along the way through my lifelong learning. Then I think, oh, this looks cute, then I bought it. But you don't really question it. Why is it cute? If you see reality as is, it's all because of what you learned along the way, and it's not the absolute truth. It's just relative truth that you learned that serves you the purpose, and sometimes no, sometimes it doesn't serve you the purpose and can actually harm you. All this concept like I'm not good enough, whatever it is, right? But it's all learned. If you learn to unlearn certain things that do not serve you, you can slowly see the pure love and beauty of the reality as is, with all the preconceptions. And this is what I meant. It's an endless journey, because one day you suddenly had an epiphany. Oh, I see what this is. And the next day you saw something else. It happens constantly where you just see reality more and more clearly of what it actually is. I'll give you two examples that's bigger than a capybara. But bigger again is also a concept. If you really question it, why is it a big thing? But anyway, this is by society standards is bigger, so I'll give you two bigger examples. One is about my marriage. So after my meditation retreat, I think that was my first in-person retreat, I decided to get married, because through meditation, I realized something I was holding on to. I wanted to get my green card through this EB1, which is, because I had a PhD in computer science. So that EB1 basically shows you're such an outstanding person, whatever it is. And then we give you the green card to stay in the US. But instance, I had a boyfriend at that time who's American. I really didn't want to get married to him, although I wasn't sure why. But in my meditation, I realized the real reason I didn't want to get married, not because I didn't want to get married or I wasn't ready or anything. It's because I was afraid of people saying I married this American dude for green card. So I wanted to get my green card through this EB1 route to show, outstanding, and then I can get married. But did you see how stupid that is? Because nobody cares what type of green card you have. You know what I mean? Like, who knows, except for me and maybe my husband, and just for me to feel better. Nobody's gonna, Yixue, what type of green card do you hold right now? You know, it's just so stupid. And the marriage green card is way faster than this outstanding EB1 green card. After my first retreat, when my husband was picking me up, then I told him, I think we can get married, and I explained this is what I realized through my retreat. And my second example is, this sounds even bigger. So I was laid off last year, and at first I went through all these phases. It's like your ego is hurt or whatever. I was desperate to find a funding so that I can stay at my job. That's a long story, which I will write a blog post about. And maybe after a week or two, I'm like, I'm a meditator. I'm not supposed to be this stressed out about this. So I just reflect a little bit on it. I'm like, okay, so layoff is a big deal, but why? What's the biggest consequences? Then it turned out it's just because of money, right? I understand that many people, if they're laid off, they might immediately need to worry about the food on the table, but not everybody. Then I look at my bank account, I'm like, okay, if the main issue is the money, I have enough money for a year or two, why am I so stressed out now? Then the question becomes extremely clear. If you see reality as is, this layoff is just because you don't have money source anymore. And yes, you have enough money for a year or two to support you to find a job. Can you now find a job? We don't know, but we will try. And then it becomes, what do you want to do right now that can also make money? So the question becomes a lot simpler than when you first heard about the layoff. It felt like everything is ruined, but it's just a habit because humans value stability and we are afraid of change. But sometimes this fear is just because of a change, and it could even be a change that's better for you, for your life. Like this layoff, after I see it clearly, I had my plan. I'm like, okay, this is what I want to do. And believe it or not, I always wanted to do YouTube, and that's why you're seeing me right now. Because I never had the time. I was a very busy researcher on AI and mental health and many other research topics. I had very broad research interests. Only because of my layoff, that's what made it possible to have my YouTube channel and have some time to do that. So these are just small examples, and in your life, your realization and your reality when you see it as is might be very different from mine, because it's a completely personalized journey, because we accumulated very different things and noises and distraction and masks along the way. They are very different, varied from individual to individual. When you find something, oh my God, this is so profound, when you tell other people, they may not feel that way. That's just because this whole journey is very personalized. You will see as you gradually train your mind more and more, this mindfulness will become sharper and sharper and penetrated into every single moment in your life. And you will be guarded in a very safe space and automatically conduct wholesome actions, body, verbal, and eventually even your thoughts. Can you believe that? How can you now be productive? How can you now be clear on what you want to do? How can you now be happy? You know, then it just becomes easier and easier. Everything is just like a game and very effortless. So I hope this is helpful, and let's be patient to train our mind little by little and enjoy this magnificent reality as it is. If you have any questions about mind training, or if there's any particular topic that you're interested in learning more for a happier life, let me know. It's not an easy journey, but I promise you it's so worth it, and you will never regret it. When you're on your deathbed, you're gonna be so glad that I'm so glad I chose this path. Okay, so I hope you enjoy the journey, and if it's difficult, don't worry, I'm here with you. Let's do it together. Let's go. Let's keep going. Surprise! If you watched until here, I like you already. You're my people. My content is not for entertainment, so I cannot compete with all the fancy YouTube videos out there. But my intention is really for you to see how beautiful life is and work on yourself, which is the best investment you can ever have, and it has the best ROI. I guarantee you, okay? So I'm so happy that you're attracted to the information and can stay until here. That means you're ready. So I have a bonus content for you. As I said, for mindfulness, there's 3 different actions you can turn your mindfulness on for, right? There's mental, there's verbal, and there's bodily actions. It's easier to notice the bodily first and then verbal, and then these your thoughts. Eventually, you will see it's all about your thoughts because your thoughts actually give rise to your verbal actions and your bodily actions. So eventually, it can boil down to just guard your thoughts and have discernment and use the right effort to replace your unwholesome thoughts with wholesome thoughts. But when you're starting out, even you can just have wholesome verbal actions, that is enough. That is actually so ahead of the game than most people already, and you will already see tangible benefits that you're automatically happier because you have less regrets. Just see it for yourself if it's true. And when you are doing pretty well, you're bored, like, yeah, my verbal actions are totally fine, wholesome, happy. When you're ready, we'll dive into a finer point about mindfulness, that is really pay attention to how your mind's attention move from one thing to another, and that can gain so much clarity. I didn't mention this in my main video because for most people who live a busy life, in your day-to-day basis, you cannot really pay attention to all your thoughts, even in 1 second. By default, if you never trained your mind, you will have maybe 10 thoughts arriving at the same time. It takes some time to slow it down with mental clarity, and your thoughts will become fewer and fewer, slower and slower. This is also mental clarity and productivity, because when your thoughts are slower, it's very clear at one single moment what you're thinking and what you're gonna do. They really boost up your focus, productivity, and efficiency. Just see it for yourself. As the thoughts slow down, it sounds counterintuitive. You get a lot more done and effortlessly. That's a bonus content for you. If you don't believe me, check out this super cool senior monk.
Mindfulness is remembering to observe how mind's attention moves from one thing to another.
I learned about this definition of mindfulness from him, and it works really well, especially at a retreat when your thoughts are already slowed down. That gives you just so much. You will have all the answers to your life. Eventually, it's just like you're living a life with cheat code. You know how in the game you can unlock the different version with some cheat code and it's a different game, right? You can play your life game in that way too. It's really cool. I hope you will enjoy this life game and have fun. Thank you for watching my video. I'm so happy you are here. If you have any stories about mindfulness, how it helped you or crushed you, whatever it is, I would love to hear about them. See you next time.